Hello and very warm welcome to Dr. Zia Ahmed YouTube channel. In today's video, we shall be talking about chapter 16 of Bepsi Sidhwa's novel, The Candyman, popularly known as Cracking India also. We are recording this chapter because this is the classwork that I'm teaching these days. The class has already done a lot of work on Lenny's character. The class has also worked on the title, Ice Candy Man. After that, the partition theme, everything has been talked about. Now, this chapter is significant with respect to many of the things which will come here regarding politics, regarding partition, and regarding other smaller characters in this chapter. So that is why this will be very useful for the students who are preparing this novel for the sake of examination of the post-colonial studies paper. So let's enter into this chapter and see how does it begin. And for this purpose, you need to look at the very first page of the chapter, which says, we leave early. Master Tara Singh is expected to make an appearance outside the assembly chambers behind the Queen's garden, except for Mocho and her children who remain behind in the servants' quarters. Our house is deserted. Mother and father left before us with the Singhs and the Philibuses. Now you see, this is the kind of start of the chapter. And in this start of the chapter, we come to know that here the main character will be discussed, Master Tara Singh, who was very important character of the, or rather leader of the Sikh community at that time. What is his significance? Why Sidhwa has chosen to take full 1-2 chapters on that, possibly to represent the Sikh community at the time of Pakistan making and the partition of Indo-Pak subcontinent. So Master Tara Singh is going to be talked about with respect to that. He becomes a symbol of Sikh freedom or Sikh activities in the Indian subcontinent at that time in 1947. At that time, what was happening with that and how he had become significant in the politics, that is to be talked about in this chapter. And for this purpose, I'm leading you down to the chapter to see what else we can have. As this passage says, there is a stir of excitement and increase in the volume of noise, and Master Tara Singh in a white kurta, his silken beard flowing creamily down his face, appears on the top steps of the assembly chambers. I see him clearly. His chest is diagonally swathed in a blue band from which dangles a decoratively sheathed kirpan. The folds of his loose white pajamas fall about his ankles. A leather band round his waist holds a long religious dagger. This paragraph tells us about the symbolic appearance of Master Tara Singh. He is fully equipped with the gear of the Sikh community, and he is, rather, I should say, wearing everything possible which show him to be a Sikh representative. For example, he is wearing the white kurta, and his beard is also very white, long hair. And then he has got something on his chest, and that is diagonally swathed blue band, which he's wearing, and the kirpan he's also having along with him. And he has got his white pajama as well, and the leather band around his waist holds a long religious dagger as well. So all these things are considered possibly necessary for the appearance of a Sikh, rather a public appearance of a Sikh. And this person, Master Tara Singh, is fully equipped with these things. So he comes to Lahore and all the people go to watch him. Sikhs especially go and the remaining people also go there. And the next passage says, the Sikhs milling about in a huge blob in front wildly wave and clash their swords, kirpans and hockey sticks and punctuate his shrieks with roar, Pakistan, Murdabad, death to Pakistan, Sat Sri Akal, Bole Se Nihal, and the Muslims shouting, so we shall play holy with their blood, holy with their blood. So such type of passages are totally, the passages which should not have been the part of the novel, but perhaps to tell the story, what happened at that time, how the things were boiling, and how it was possible for all the communities to bring out their representatives and to show their power as well. So the Sikhs are showing their power through the slogans which have been quoted in this passage, and the Muslims have been shown in the history that they too raised such type of slogan. Whatever these slogans may be, these were in fact to let us know what was the charged environment of that time and why the violence entered into that, because such kind of things were encouraged at that time and nobody was coming forward to stop that. And let's see more what else we can have in this chapter about that part of the history which is very significant at the time when Pakistan was being created. Here, for example, the writer lets us know suddenly a posse of sweating English Tommies wearing only khaki shorts, socks, and boot strands Up in the lane directly below us, and on their heels, a mob of six, their wide long hair and beard rampant, large fevered eyes glowing in the fanatic faces, pours into the narrow lane, roaring slogans, holding curved swords, shoving up a manic wave of violence that sets Aya to tremble as she holds me tight. A naked child twitching on a spear stuck between her shoulders is waved like a flag, her screamless mouth agape. She is staring straight up at me. A crimson fury blinds me. I want to dive into the bestial creature, clawing entrails, plucking eyes, tearing limbs, gouging hearts, smashing brains. But the creature has too many stony hearts, too many sightless eyes, deaf ears, mindless brains, and tons of entwined entrails. Such passages go to suggest about how Sidhwa draws a map of all the things which were violent happening at that time. Although the police have come, the British police have come, and they are appearing in the khaki shorts, they have come to control, but still the Sikhs are running here and there, but they are not leaving whatever they wanted to do at that time. So they are spreading blood, they are trying to fight with each other, they are trying to kill each other, and in that way, there is the kind of horror or horrible scene which is being enacted, and I is witnessing all that, Lanny is witnessing all that, although these people shouldn't have been there at that time, but they are there. The purpose of the writer to bring these people there is to let us know that such things were happening, such violent things were also happening at that time. So here the novel assumes the tone of bloodshed and tone of that kind of bloody history or violent history which lies back at the creation of Pakistan and the creation of India, or these were somewhat, we can say, the aftermaths of colonization, and ultimately the human beings are going to suffer out of that. The blood of the common people will be flown, not of these leaders. This is what is happening inside this novel. The novel at this moment therefore becomes the document of history and records all that history which was necessary to be seen by all of us. And here, let's go next and see what more things we can have about this kind of violent history that is in this chapter 16 mentioned by this writer. Writer further says, although we are several furlongs away, a scorching blast from a hot wind makes our clothes flap as if in a storm. I look at Ice Candyman. The astonishment on his features is replaced by a huge grin. His face, reflecting the fire, is lit up. The fucking bastards, he says, laughing aloud, spit flying from his mouth. The fucking bastards, they sprayed the buildings with petrol. They must be Muslims. The Hindus of Shalmi must have piled a lot of dynamite in their houses and shops to drive the Muslims from Mochi Gate. The entire Shalmian area, covering about 4 square miles, flashes and explosions. The men and women on our roofs are slapping each other's hands, laughing, hugging one another. That is another scene of violence, but here, not only the violence of the human body, but also that of the arsenals that also enters here. And it appears that again and again the bursts of strong, power come out of the Shalmi Chowk, which is an area of 4 kilometers. It's being told here that in that area, number of places are burning because of the petrol bombs, because of throwing the petrol, and also they are burning because of the blasts which are taking place. And each blast, some people become happy and some people become sad. But whatever the case may be, it was the burning, it was the violence, it was the kind of shrieking which was coming out of this, and that was the possible result of the intercommunal riots of that time, which were taking place in the heart of Lahore at that time, the time of time of the Indo-Pak partition, as a result of which Pakistan and India were created. So again, this chapter is reflecting the violence, the kind of bloodiness, the kind of fiery things which were happening, or the killing and the death and the bloodshed which was happening, and which is at the history of the creation of Pakistan in this world. That's what the writer is trying to let us know about the kind of sacrifices, but the kind of violence through which the people had to go, and that was happening very much around the whole of the city of Lahore, although it was the city where people lived very long with the kind of brotherhood with each other, but at this moment the Lahore was suffering. And that chapter therefore concludes in these words by saying, and the hellish fires of Lahore spawn monstrous mobs. These no more resemble the little processions of chanting urchins that Waris Road spawned, and that Adi and I shouted ourselves worse in that fires that fuse steel girders to more resemble the fires that Imam-Din fans alive in our kitchen grates every morning. So the closing of the chapter makes us see through the eyes of a child, Lanny, that she is remembering the fire in her kitchen, and she was looking at the similar type of fire, but very huge, very powerful fire around. In the same way, she's also comparing little children's processions who were chanting different slogans, but that's being compared with the huge, bloody, and very violent type of slogans which were being raised in the processions, different political processions at that time. So in this way, the indication is that the whole city is suffering. Whole city is suffering because of the people's thinking that the things should go as they want. For example, the kind of Muslims definitely would want the Muslim areas allocated to them, and the Sikhs would want to have that as well. Punjab, especially because they thought that Punjab is the dominated Sikh area, so that is why it should be given to them. But whatever the case may be, that was the history. That was the politically violent history which was working at the back of all that, which caused to create this country, our beloved Pakistan, and India was created out of the Indo-Pak subcontinent. But the history was very violent, and it was the people of India was fighting with each other. Instead of passing through this history peacefully and getting their own spaces as was allocated by the British government, everybody started to fight for more share. Ultimately, only the victims were the people. Nothing else was obtained. Pakistan and India were created, but many people died whose blood is in the roots of these two countries. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in some next video. The next video will also be on the chapter 17. Hope to see you again. So till that time, keep happy, keep smiling. And if you like this video, do not fail to hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. And sometime you may have the answer of your comments as well. So thank you again.